Hey friends, David York here at the York Way. Today we're going to talk about this customer bike that we just recently serviced, so let's flip this camera around and dig in. All right, 2019 Indian Scout. Just finished up the 10K service on it. It's in beautiful deep water blue metallic. Must have been a popular color for 2019. This Chieftain up here is also deep water blue metallic. We have not cleaned and polished this area, but if you wanted to know what a cleaned and polished deep water blue metallic would look like, there you go. You see the reflection from our wall right here. You can almost read what time it is on that clock. But let's get back to our Scout. Start with the front tire. Front tire is pretty good shape. It's actually original tire, manufactured June of 2019, but the carcass is in good shape. It's been run underinflated a little bit at some point. You can tell by this wear pattern here where it's just off the center line. It's worn a little deeper in the tread here. And that's a sign of it being run underinflated. If it was worn really bad, it would translate through to you as the rider, kind of like riding over a mini rumble strip. But this one we've road tested and it still feels, runs and rides good. Brake pads were good. No weeping on the forks here. All the lighting is good all the way around. We cleaned and lubricated all of our hand controls. Again, we always pull the controls off, remove the pivot, clean and lubricate all of this while the controls are off. Pull your cable out, inspect all the cable length that you can, make sure there's no fraying or damage to the clutch cable. Grease everything and reassemble. Same thing with the foot controls. Pull your foot controls off. Clean and lubricate at your pivot here. Now, even if you feel like your controls are healthy and moving okay, you have to imagine that if you weren't servicing this bike for another 5,000 miles, how are these going to feel? So this is a preventative maintenance measure as much as it is a maintenance measure. So you want to make sure this stuff stays lubricated so it works well to the next service. Shift linkage moves freely, cleaned and lubricated. Side stand greased. Actually, his side stand, the nut on the bottom side was loose. I don't think it was in danger of falling off, but it was not tight. It definitely was not torqued. So that's another reason why you bring things in to have them serviced and inspected. The oil and oil filter got changed. Put AMSOIL 15W60 100% synthetic back in it. Tested the battery tested good. He had an interesting issue with the coolant where he had the overflow tank was full. And here's a little tip: if you cannot reach your overflow tank, use a flashlight and shine down in there so you can see your coolant level. If you can't quite tell where the coolant level is, you can shake the bike. Get that coolant level to wiggle a little bit so you can see where the top level is. So we actually had to suction out quite a bit of coolant to get it down to the normal level. So here's the concern: if your overflow coolant tank is full and you go run this bike on a really hot day, your coolant will need to expand, and that's the purpose of having the overflow tank. So the coolant in the engine has a place to expand to. This is a closed circuit system. It's a closed loop system. So if all of your coolant area is full in the engine and this is full, now your coolant has no place to expand to. If it cannot expand anywhere, your engine's going to overheat and you're going to have a bad day. So you never want to fill your overflow tank too full. The belt was about 30 millimeters, so it was way too loose. So we tightened the belt, realigned the belt and rear wheel. Now, we like to realign the belt to where this bike has 10,000 miles on it. So we know this belt is going to continue to stretch. It's going to continue stretching until about 20,000 miles. So when we realign it, we're going to realign it towards the inner edge of the pulley, knowing the belt is going to stretch and work its way back to center and then to the outer edge by the next 5,000 miles or the next time you change a tire and you realign all of that. It's just the nature of belts when they're new, on up through about 20,000 miles, they're going to continue to stretch. After that, we would set this belt to run down the middle of the pulley and it would stay there until the next service. Taking a look at the rear shocks, again, no weeping here on our shocks, so those are in good shape. Rear brake pads were good shape. Now we did not check the spark plugs. We did change the air filter, but to change the spark plugs means you've got to disconnect the frame from the back and the front. You can't see the front connection, but it's here under the tank. And then you've got to pull the air box off. Then you've got to pull off your coil packs that sit on your spark plugs. So it's not that it's a lot of work, it's that there's a balance of risk of disconnecting all of these things every 10,000 miles when this bike is running good. Now, if this bike had an issue where something didn't feel right with the engine, we would 100% do all that work and go check the spark plugs. They're going to get changed at 30,000 miles, but right now at 10,000 miles, that is a lot of work and a lot of risk to just do an inspection on a spark plug. If this were a Power Plus or a Thunderstroke where the spark plug is on the side of the engine, we would 100% pull those plugs and check them every 10,000 miles because it only takes us a few minutes to do it. So just know it's not something that we don't want to do, but we're balancing the risk of disconnecting all these things every 10,000 miles. The brake fluid was bad. I think it was like 3.3% moisture in the rear and 3.7 in the front. So front and rear brake fluid was flushed and replaced with new Indian brake fluid. If you have this style of sight glass, they're hard to look into and see your brake fluid level because they painted the inside of the reservoir black. And they've gone away from that, but if you have this style, you should get you a flashlight and shine in through the sight glass and you can see your level. So there you go, 2019 Indian Scout, 10,000 mile service. He had one other issue where he had a kind of an intermittent code that kept popping up, something related to turn signals and rear brake light, and we found that underneath this little bit of a wrap here, something had damaged the wiring harness under here. It had chafed through the rubber protector, and there was an exposed wire in there. So we repaired that for him, and this is actually a wire loom wrap that we put back over it just to cover up the exposed wires where the rubber chafed off there. So that should take care of his intermittent electrical issue that he has. And there you go, 2019 Indian Scout, ready to go another 5,000 miles. Now remember, you got to bring your Indian motorcycle to the York Way to have it serviced the way it was meant to be.